And we are live. Welcome to the show. This session is brought to you by the Skylabs and Vetter ecosystem. My name is Ryan, and I'm so glad to be your host today. Now, over the last year, over 16,000 crypto projects have launched, and I got a question for you. How is it possible for you to find, research, and manage all of those projects? That's a lot of work. I mean, that's a full-time job to get all that stuff done. And that's exactly what we do here in the Vetter ecosystem. We utilize crowdsourcing to save time, energy, and money in the crypto space. And we work together to find projects that have potential to do well. At the same time, we work together to bring up red flags and warnings about other projects that have major concerns. Now, for the last 6 months, we've recorded over 100 live sessions like this, supporting the community in navigating the CrowdX Calendar, finding 2x to 100x gems, and avoiding some questionable projects. And of course, we're going to do the same thing today. We're going to look at some great projects on the CrowdX Calendar, and we're also going to take a few moments to just have a real heart-to-heart talk on a teaching moment that can really support some people. So you're in for a great show. Like I said, my name is Ryan. Thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and chime in the comments. Let me know who is with us live, who's watching live. We have Metal Rides in the house. We have Crust Barar. Thank you guys. We have Jackie. Hey. Thank you guys for being here. Go ahead and drop your highs and hellos in the chat so I know who all is with us. Now, before we jump into the CrowdX Calendar, I do want to have a bit of a celebration, share some wins with you. I shared this in our Skylabs Telegram group last night. If you're tuning in for the first time, you're brand new, hey, welcome. Thank you for being here. Glad that you're here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask here in the comment section or ask in Telegram, and we'll be more than glad to get your questions answered. But I wanted to say that, hey, what's up, Doctor? Doctor's in the house. I just wanted to give a massive congratulations to the entire community. Okay, so we launched. After the launch, we had some really good numbers. A week later, we had really good numbers as far as people staking and locking in their packages and things like that. And then there was an issue with the contract, and which is actually a blessing. And here's what I mean by that. Here's why it's a blessing. We're able to do a V2, so there was a migration from V1 to V2. And here are the stats after the migration. Okay, you can see on the screen here that these are some of the numbers, and these are the lock-in packages. I wanted to share this because I wanted to show you how strong this community really is, and I wanted to give you a celebration, virtual high five, virtual fist bump, because this is a big deal. It's a really big deal. So there are close to 6.5 billion tokens locked in for an entire year. And we have 1.8 billion tokens locked in for 6 months. Okay? That is a total of 8.3 billion tokens locked in between 6 months and 1 year, which shows the commitment and vision of the community. Okay? This is awesome. And what's really cool about this is the numbers after the migration were actually higher than the numbers 7 days after launch. And that's great for a handful of reasons. Number one, those who were not 100% on board with the vision, maybe they were hoping for a pump and dump, they had the opportunity to unstake, unlock their tokens, and leave. And some people did that. At the same time, that created opportunity for other people to double down on their position, acquire more Vetter, acquire more VSL, and it's great because when window of opportunity opens up and people take advantage of this. So that's one thing that was really awesome about this. Number two, those who had better understanding of the lock-in packages were able to optimize their positions. So there was a bit of a learning curve with what the packages had to offer, how it actually worked, royalty shares, allocation shares, multiplier, bonus, base shares, all that stuff. There's a bit of an onboarding process, and this gave people the opportunity to basically hit the reset button. Maybe they accidentally locked in for 6 months thinking that there was going to be a better deal. Maybe they locked in for 7 days thinking that was going to be a better deal. And this gave them the opportunity to hit the reset button and get a much better position, which is going to support them long-term and short-term, which is massive, massive. Number 3, with a handful of distributions paid out, some people were able to get larger lock-in packages, which actually gave them more bonus shares, which again supports them not only today, but in the future. And it's just so cool to see how much winning is going on here. And I just, again, congratulations. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this epic and awesome community. And I just wanted to start the session today by, like I said, virtual fist bumps and high fives all the way around. So we got X8 Crypto, we got Tim, Chris, Matthew, and Micah. Hey guys, welcome. Glad that you're here. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the platform. This is the Vetter board. This is, when you first log into the platform, you're going to see this right here. And this is basically an overview of everything that's going on the DApp. There's so much built into it. And this is just a quick access to show you everything that's going on here. Over on the left, you can see we have the CrowdX Calendar, the tracker page. That's your personal profile page. Vetter University, the swap, VSell, the vault, staking, Skylabs, and then support for Q&A and things like that. So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to take a look at the CrowdX Calendar. I just want to show you how simple it is to navigate the calendar, and then we're going to take a look at some presales. I have asked for a couple people. They shared some projects they wanted to look at today. We're going to look at those, and I wanted to circle back on a project from last week, and I really want your help on this one as far as educating the community, and it's super important. Okay, and I don't want to start with that one. I want to do it like a sandwich. That one will be in the middle. So because I don't want to. It's not negative. I just want us all to rally behind and really realize that like we're all in this together, and we get to support each other and support the community and understanding different things. Okay. So with that, the first project we're going to look at today is brought to us by Metaloride, and he wanted to take a look at CareCoin Volume 2, V2. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and pull that up here. I think it's right in here. Yep, CareCoin V2. Okay, and I'm just going to go through the normal checklist that I normally go through. Then we're going to read Metaloride's notes. Okay, so whenever I'm looking at a project, these are the things that I always look for, and this is just something that when you just start looking at projects, just having that mental checklist for yourself can support you in navigating quickly to get a feel for what the project is about. Okay. And if you're brand new, you can do this a lot of different ways. Okay, you can solely rely on what the scout and vetters say. You can use that in conjunction with your own research. It's all about finding what works best for you. Okay, but this is CareCoin Volume 2. So the first thing we're going to look at is the website. Now, this project has there's been previous success with this project. So this is going to be a little bit different of a look than what we would say a brand new project launching. The reason why is because this project had pretty big success a few months back. They were sitting pretty strong, pretty solid. So we're going to see some things with this project that's going to look a little bit different. Okay, this is an established company, project, team, and a community, and so that's one thing to consider when looking at this project. Okay, but so we're on the website here. We can see right away they are promoting, Pink Cell. They're promoting the fair launch that's happening starting tomorrow. And while, it's not necessarily a super fancy website, it does flow well. There's nothing that's like, it has a nice flow to it. I don't get distracted by everything. I don't feel overwhelmed of what's going on. It's a good vibe, a good feel for the website. Like I said, even though it's not like totally custom, it does have a good feel to it. Okay, as you can see, we're just scrolling down. There's a lot of different things here. A lot of different things. And like I said, this is a community that is established, and so they're starting this process with a lot going on. Okay, so the team is doxed. Okay, so it looks like we have James, co-founder, dev partnership. James is a 3 times advanced stage cancer survivor who co-founded CareCoin. James leads the way for CareCoin's overall mission and vision. We have Simon here, co-founder, project manager. Simon is a 17-year law enforcement officer and the co-founder of CareCoin. Simon helps to run the day-to-day operations of the project to ensure the overall success of CareCoin. Okay, so right off the bat, we can see that there's people here. There's a face behind it, and like I said, they had a previous successful launch. I think it actually did really well. If my memory serves me, we'll look at the chart here in a minute for CareCoin. And so this would be, since this is a V2, I mean, it's not like they're launching a second token in their ecosystem. They're just doing a second version of it. Okay, and so one of the things that we want to look for and always remember is if a team has already done something one time, that automatically puts them in the position where, like, hey, look, there's some experience there, there's some knowledge there, there's a level of success, and that can be utilized, that can be brought to this next chapter. Okay, so it's, and I don't want to say that there's automatic trust, but I will say that there's not an unknown. When we look at some projects, we don't know what they're capable of. We get to wait around to see what happens. With this, we know what they've done, and now, we're figuring out in this conversation what they're going to be doing as they're moving to V2. Okay, so looks like we got an audit for, or this is Seifu. This is Contract Checker. I've been seeing this one a lot pop up. With a handful of projects lately. Contract Checker has been used a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Telegram. And again, these numbers are going to be pretty big. It's not going to be just a brand new project that just started. It's going to be an established community. Let's see, did that work? Okay, good. All right, I'm in it. All right, so if I were to go to the pin messages, there should be a lot of pin messages. So we got 44 messages. Now I'm curious if this group is going to be, if this is the original group or if this group is something that they created for V2. Looks like it's possible this group was simply created from V2. Maybe not. Maybe they went ahead and reset their Telegram group. I'm not sure. I would get to do a little bit more digging to see. Metal or Ride, if you know the answer to that, feel free to hop in and drop a comment. But what I'm saying is the first message was from August, and I know that they've been around a lot longer than that. Okay, never mind. If I just read the if I just read the message, it would tell me right there on the screen. Okay, so what they did decide to do, since they're doing a V2, they decided just to clean out the old version and basically starting from scratch from this point on. Okay, and so that's what they did right here. It says, important notice, the chat is temporarily paused for maintenance and updates. We're clearing the chat right now to give a fresh start for V2. The link below is the only link to this chat. Okay, good deal. So we know, again, this one is going to be a little bit different as far as how we look at this, simply because this is an established community already. Okay? We still want to look for the same things. We still want to look for the same checklist that we have, but the results that we're going to get is going to be different compared to a brand new group. For example, if there was a project that they're launching their first project, a week from now, and they started their group 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. It's a different perspective than what we're currently seeing right now. I just want to have the right expectations with how we're going through with this. Okay. So this is very similar to a token like Lucro that we talked about last week. They already are established. They already have the groundwork. And so it's very, very similar from that perspective. Okay. So the next thing we want to see, let's check out, there were, I think, like 12,000 members. Okay, so one of the things that we check to see if a project's been botted is what are the random things happening in the chat? Are a bunch of people hopping in saying, good project, good project, good project? Are people hopping in there and saying just hi, 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 hello, hello, best of luck? There's just these random things. And that's the only thing that the person ever says. That is clearly a bot. And sometimes projects use bots to inflate their numbers to make them look like they're doing better than what they actually are. Okay? And so that's one of the things we want to look for, because we want to know, this number represents the potential people getting into the project, and it gives an idea of what the pre-sale or what the fair launch is going to look like. It gives insights into that stuff, and so it's really important to know: can we trust this number? If it says 12,700, but we see hundreds of messages that are from bots, hey, it may not be 12,000. It may be closer to, half or less. And so that's something that we want to look for. And that's why we look to see if there's bots and comments and things like that. So good project is a term that you could use. You could search in there, and that would flush some things out. Okay. And I'll show you a really good example of that here in a moment. Okay. So all right here, these are all real comments from real people. This is good stuff. And I started to say it's possible that a project or team could also delete those types of comments, but that requires intentionality, and unlikely, people who have nefarious intent or who are ignorant, they're looking for low-hanging fruit and the least path of resistance, and they're gonna not do that. Okay, they're not gonna do that. Okay. So that's how that works. So next thing I would be looking for is AMAs. Let's do. Looks like they had some AMAs today. Let's see, AMA recording. Okay, let me hop back into the pin messages. Okay, so that AMA with Ninja Lounge. Insider AMA, let's see, this is XDC private, AMA with CareCoin, who's this with? Nordic Wells Lounge. We have some videos here. We've got the Seifu certificate from Contract Checker. Seifu certified. See if we have any other AMAs. Oh, didn't mean to click on that. These are just quick little videos here. Okay, we'll go back over here to AMA. So right now, I don't see a lot of the big names, which is neither bad nor good. I'm just simply saying, when I say I don't see a lot of the big names like Venom or Caesars or things like that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just an observation. I'm just making an observation. Last week we talked about how different influencers, different call groups, they have their own type of tribe and vibe, and I don't have enough data yet to determine what types of tribes those are, but this is just an observation. When we look at who was used for AMAs, like I said, we had a handful. Ninja Lounge, Nordic Wells. These were Nordic Wells. Two of these I'd never heard of before, and so it's just an observation. It's one of those things where if you're making notes, we talk about this a lot: volume of launches, KSP, paper trading. Take notes on these projects and say, okay, this project, they did an AMA with this group, this group, this group, and this group. Okay? And when you find another project that you're watching, list the AMAs that they did. And over a volume of launches, you'll start recognizing patterns. I recognized a pattern before where some projects were utilizing travel ad. Okay, and they had certain types of results at launch. And then I saw other groups utilizing Caesar in conjunction with Venom, and they had better results than solely travel ad. And that's not you should only look at Venom and Caesar. It's simply an observation. Okay, and so I invite you to do the same thing with this. Let's get really dialed in as a community. Let's all get our feelers out there, all of us watching, taking notes, so we can recognize patterns on what type of groups and call groups and communities bring in the best kinds of results for mature investors. Really at the core, that's what we're looking for. And so us working together like that, we can figure out who are these groups and what are they all about and things like that. Okay. So the next thing I would want to look for, as it relates to the team, I didn't mention this. I'll touch on this just briefly. As it relates to the team, one of the things that I like to look for is the age, and obviously we could see that those guys were older. I can appreciate that. Meaning they're not living in their mom's basement, and they didn't make a couple $100 doing crypto, and now they're going to launch their own project. Like they have some experience in life, and I can appreciate that. I can resonate with that. I'm not saying that younger teams can't do the job, but I would rather work with, learn from, partner with someone who has experienced some level of success and failure, because that resiliency is what will help them make it through. As we all know, as I talk about a lot, this is the wild, wild west, and it's more likely for something to go wrong and unplanned and not planned than for it to go right. And it's in those moments where you see what the team is really all about. And when I see an older group of team, whether it's men or women, it doesn't matter to me, whether they have that experience or not, that gives me peace of mind knowing, what, I believe they have a better chance of making it through because of their prior successes and prior failures. Okay, so that means a lot to me. Also, the fact, again, that this team has already had a level of success with V1, that goes a long way. Okay, so the next thing that I would want to be looking for is, I'm sure there's. Let's see if we can find the audit. I bet the audit's going to be on pink cell. Maybe just faster for me to go there instead of searching. So let me find the pink cell. All right, yeah, their audit is on with, let's see who it's with. Contract checker. I thought that was going to be a possibility since they did the Seifu as well. And KYC, I believe, was. Oh, well, yeah, contract checker. Okay. Yep, so both audit and Seifu are from contract checker. Now, right off the bat, one of the things that I did some research today, and I'll share just a little bit of the findings, but when I was looking at this project, the one thing I was kind of curious about and unsure of is why they decided to do a fair launch. And the only thing I can think about is the fact that because they're an established project, they're doing a V2, maybe they wanted anybody who was already associated with V1 to have an opportunity to take part in V2. Okay? Meaning a fair launch gives everybody an opportunity, everybody a chance. Statistically, When I see a fair launch, I cringe. I'm not a fan because in my brain I had this story. I had this story that majority of fair launches fail. Okay? That was a story that I had. Well, today I did some research instead of just, because that's emotional. That's my opinion. I was like, let's look at facts. So I did a quick audit on all the projects that launched between May and September, now, current, from May all the way current, all projects that were a fair launch that launched on our platform. I looked at them. There were 68. And guess what? 34 were considered profitable in the first 24 hours, and 34 were failures. So that's 50%. Okay, meaning they were all fair launches. I felt it was more like a 90% failure rate for fair launches. And so to see it's a 50%, it's like, okay, well, that changes things a bit. I was reacting emotionally instead of looking at it, statistically and from a data perspective. We take it a step further. The average gain for the ones that were profitable was at 90%, meaning a 90% gain, meaning a 1.9x. Okay? So of the 34 that were profitable, the average gain was 1.9x. Okay? Right under 2x. So it's kind of low. Out of the 34, 8 projects had over a 2x gain, and 11 projects had under a 10% gain. Okay? This may be a little confusing with the numbers I'm sharing, but I'm trying to paint the big picture. The fair launch success is not necessarily dependent on whether it's a fair launch or a pre-sale. It has more to do with a team. And, after I had that finding and realization, the obvious thought was like, well, duh. To think that a fair launch or a pre-sale is the one thing that does, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So it was a good realization for me that basically the factor of whether a fair launch is going to be profitable or not really comes down to the quality of the project and quality of the team. It has nothing to do with a fair launch or a pre-sale. Pre-sale or fair launch, if the project and team is garbage, it's going to be garbage. I think there's a possibility that with a garbage team, they may actually do better doing a pre-sale. Okay, they may actually do better doing a pre-sale because it creates a little bit of demand and scarcity. Anyway, when I get the finalized numbers, I'll drop that in chat and Telegram. We can go through that at that time. So that's that. So fair launch is starting tomorrow at 1500 UTC. Okay, so definitely want to add this one to your watch list. Okay, you want to add it to your watch list and look to see what's going on there. Let's check back on Telegram. So literally, I joined the group however long ago, and there's a handful of messages coming in now. James, welcome me to the group. Hey, thanks, James. Appreciate it. But no, there's a handful of messages coming in, and it's the team that's out there doing that, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Just the Cliff Notes version for this particular project. Cliff Notes version for this particular... Sorry, I was distracted by James messaging me. Actually, let me send him a message real quick. Saying, I'm actually talking about your project right now. Hey, James. There we go. So anyway, sorry I was distracted just for a quick moment. Again, great things about this project is Doc's team, very communicative. They're doing some AMAs, not in the normal... All right, guys. I may be back now. Um, Let me. Yeah, something happened weird with my internet went out. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Um, like I pulled up the chat here. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I'm gonna restart the browser. Just give me 1 second. Make sure everything's working right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, there may be just a bit of a delay. Okay, all good. Okay, we got Melaride says no sound. Click. Okay, Kim can hear me. Crypto Dread, Tim, Doctor. Okay, hey guys, sorry about that. Wow, my internet went out, and so it messed up. Well, now I know what to do next time that happens. What I was saying was, what was I saying? What was I saying? I don't remember exactly what I was saying before we left that, but I'll simply say, all the what Metalride was saying. There we go. I'm back on track now. Here we go. I was reading what Metalride had posted. All right. Hey, thank you guys for the patience as we worked through that, navigating the space. All right. So back to what Metalride was saying in the post. Approximately 95% of meme coins have no utilities whatsoever. Those investors eventually come to understand that they're wasting their time and precious funds in them. This being said, CareCoin is now entering stablecoin territory with triple badging credentials comprised of audit, KYC, and SafeU as additional powerful catalysts that will undoubtedly send it mooning in no time. CareCoin is now in the process of migrating V1 to V2, having major upgrades from better price point to lower total supply, then gradually reducing circulating supply. Throughout V1, CareCoin wasn't necessarily classified as a meme. It was just unique to the point that it had reached a diluted market cap of 300 million, which was impressive. CareCoin is soon starting to pink sell for 2 days, then ready for trading 24 hours later. Okay. An incubator is on board to assist with organizing and synchronizing some marketing strategies for the highly anticipated launch. All right. So the biggest thing that I would be curious about at this project, so that was some of the things that Metalride had shared, in addition to what he said here in chat. Now, one of the things I'd be curious about is because they're not a meme token, they weren't necessarily, wanting to be that anyway. My question would be, what are they doing? What type of marketing are they doing to reach, the kind of group that they wanted to attract? That's what I would be curious about. What kind of marketing and what kind of community building are they going to be doing to reach the type of investors they want to invest in? And maybe that's why we're seeing these types of AMAs being done, different groups than the mainstream AMA groups. And so I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Again, based on the prior success of the team and community, I like the idea. I think it's great. Based on the excitement and hype in our own community, there's a lot of people who are excited about this, and so it's cool that we're able to talk about this. So feel free to drop in chat. If you've been looking at this project, if you're excited about it, go ahead and drop in chat why you're excited, what you're looking forward to, and what you believe is really possible for this project. So as we transition to the next project we're going to look at, go ahead and drop in chat. What it is that you're excited about as it relates to CareCoin. And share with everyone else, why you're excited about that. Also, just like I said, this is a fair launch. It's going to be starting in 18 hours and 21 minutes. So be sure to do your due diligence. Okay, do all your research. Make sure you get all your questions asked and answered in their Telegram group. They are real quick to respond. Like I said, I was welcomed and sent information and messages and stuff, and responding to my own messages. It's been great. So far, I like the vibe and feel of what's going on there. So with that, yes, yeah, Justin, I did see that. I did see that. I'll read that again in case anyone missed that. What Metalride's excited about is massive utilities added, great hype around the project, a ton of AMAs ongoing, great communication from the team and their socials, and it's a great cause. So thank you, Metalride, for sharing that. Appreciate that, brother. All right, so the next project we're going to look at, and this is what I want you guys. I'm asking you for your support. Okay, what we're going to talk about now, I think, is really, 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 really important. As a community, we get to embrace this. Okay, and we get to look for opportunities to teach and share and support. Okay, and when we do this, when we nail this part right here, it makes all of us better. And we get to do it in such a way where we're not throwing shade, we're not belittling, but rather teaching and explaining. We're coming from a place of, let's just call it risk and risk tolerance, okay? So instead of saying something is like, oh, this is straight up a scam or this is not going to work, I think I found the right language to use. We have a risk spectrum, okay? And whenever we find a project that is way, 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 way high risk, we could just simply say, like, this is simply high risk. And that way we're not belittling someone, or, it creates space for community to learn and grow and talk together. Okay? Because then someone may ask, why is that high risk? Why do you feel that way? And now we can have a conversation around it. Okay? Now, some of you probably know where I'm headed. But here we go. We're going back to our good friends at at Crowdy here. And so Crowdy, we talked about Crowdy last week. Okay? Talked about it on Thursday. And, I was trying to find what language to use to express my concerns about the project. And like I said, now I have figured it out. I have now figured it out, which is risk tolerance. Okay? So when I say something is incredibly risky, that means that there's a lot of red flags, there's a lot of warnings, there's a lot of things to look at and be curious about. So we brought up some concerns about Crowdy. The team was totally anonymous, no indication of who they were, what they've done. Okay? Very ambitious in what they wanted to develop and what they wanted to create. And the reason that I find that really risky is because they want to create all these great things, yet we don't know that they've created anything yet. Okay, we have no idea what they've even created. They want to create. You can create your own token, create a presale, create a fair launch. You can lock your tokens, create a pool, create a farm. Like, we don't know. It's great to have those ambitions. It's great to have that idea and that drive and desire to do something different and unique. But like, we have no idea who this team is and what they've even created in the past. And we don't know how long it's going to take them to actually deliver on what they want to create. Jeremy has said time and time again that he's still holding tokens of projects that promise to build something and create something who still have not created a single thing. It's one thing to talk a big game and make a website and say this is what we're going to do. It's something different to actually deliver. Okay? And so that was one of my concerns. About that. Okay? Now, so it's great that they want to do all these quote unquote innovative things. Are there more than that? I just looked at 6. Are there more? Okay, good. I saw the little arrow over there thinking that maybe there were more. Yeah, Dell says need stronger language. Definitely. Like, this is high risk. And, even with the audit, okay, right here we say Crowdy is audited by DeFi Shield. And then when you go to do your audit here, request audit, they're actually partners with DeFi Shield, meaning they're running some type of whitelist, a white label audit company. The audit company is not even on Metalride's list of top audit companies. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here, and Metalride says he got kicked out of their Telegram for asking questions. Perfect. That's what we want to hear. That, my friends, is a red flag. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and check out their Telegram group. Because what I want to show you is just absolutely fascinating to me. Okay, we're at 30,300 members. On Thursday, we were at 24,000 members. Okay, now we're at 30,000 members. These right here are what we call bots. You guys, I always talk about, type in good project and see what happens. Type in hi, type in these things. This is a perfect indication of what it looks like to have a botted Telegram group. Okay, we called it out on Thursday. We said, hey, pump the brakes, hold on a second, this looks bogus. Okay, look at all this. This is still happening. Okay, this is still happening. Since Thursday, they've added over, I think like 12,000, I think it was 18,000 members or 24,000 members, either 12,000 or 6,000 members in the last handful of days. They're literally adding thousands of bots. Still, like, the pre-sale failed miserably. Okay, the pre-sale failed miserably. They're doing a fair launch. They raised 1.26 BNB out of 4 contributors. I'm not throwing shade. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. This just clearly is not. This is all smoke and mirrors. Okay. I raised a red flag on this video. This video being an influencer. And so now, like, because of this, I'm actually taking notes on who these influencers are, because we got 8,400 views. Okay, 35 comments, but yet 4 people contributed. There's some things that are off with this. Okay, there's some things that make me say, hey, I'm not saying that this guy's bogus, but I'm just going to be very, very mindful. When a project uses this guy, that's just like when a project uses Venom and Caesar's calls, I'm going to keep track of that, because I want to see over a volume of launches, how do these play out, how do these work out, and what's the end result going to be. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Now, one of the things that I wanted to ask you for your support on is there could be new members in our community who may not fully understand how best to use this platform. And they may think that because it was listed on the platform, that it's worth getting into. Okay? And they may see someone in our Telegram group talking about this project. And because they see someone else talking about the project, they may not realize how risky this project is. And so this is a call to action for our entire community. If you ever hop on a call like this and we go over a project and we say, we pull up some red flags and things like this, I think it's very, very much worth even just briefly saying, hey, we covered this on the call. These are some of the red flags that we found. Because there are some people in our community who may think that this was a good project. Okay? They may think that it was a good project because of whatever language was used. Because of whatever keywords were used. Because they were copying some of our talking points. They may think that this was a good project. And through all the smoke and mirrors. Like, that's all this was. Smoke and mirrors. Like, how long realistically would it take for them actually to be in a place to do something? How much money is it actually going to cost them to get to a place where they could launch any one of these real utilities? I mean, these are real questions that MetalRide probably got kicked out of the group for. Okay? And so, Kim, to your point, yes, it should go in the red flag section, but that's on the Scout. The Scout would add that. Now, here's the thing, and this is not. I'm not even going to show the Scout because it doesn't matter. If the Scout is not on this call, they may not know that information. Okay, and if someone's brand new to the community, they may not know. That what we talked about are red flags. So, the new language I'll be using moving forward is I'm just going to lay out the red flags and simply say, hey, this is way high risk. And that way you guys know that like there's a lot of things that are going unchecked. And the thing is, and like I said on Thursday, this project still could have done well. Believe it or not, we're in the crypto space. We see crazy things all the time. And all projects have the ability and possibility of doing well. We've seen crazy things happen. But I know that as a community, if we clearly state the red flags, that can support other people and not getting bamboozled or misguided or distracted and getting enrolled in like the hype. Okay? Like, so, so I wanted to say that. Okay? So if for example, here's my call to action. Here's my request, okay? So we talk about the project on Thursday. We broke it down. If you happen to have seen someone else talk about, hey, what do you guys think of this project? That would be a great opportunity for you to be like, hey, here's what I see. Here's the red flags that I see. Here's a risk. Definitely watch the video that we talked about this on Thursday. Okay, just as a community, that's how we can work together to share that information, share that vibe, and do it in a way where we're teaching people what to look for, how to look for it, instead of just solely relying on what people do or don't say. Okay, so you guys in alignment with that, can you guys support me in that effort of doing that and passing the torch on and things like that. Hey Brandy, hope you're doing well. I saw that you're new to the community, so welcome. Glad that you're here. Right now we're going over a handful of projects on the CrowdX Calendar, and we just had previously talked about CareCoin V2, and now we're doing a recap on a project we talked about last week. We brought up some red flags about the project last week, and come to find out, all the red flags that we brought up were accurate and on point. And so, it's good. The beautiful part about these sessions in the crowdsource model is you find projects that are great. Okay, you find projects that are great, and you find projects that are not great, and you find out why they're not great, and everybody wins. So with that, we're going to move on to the next project that we're going to look at. King Astronaut brought this project up, and we'll take a look at this. So this is DefiKings, and this is DefiKings Lending. Okay, DefiKings Lending. Now DefiKings actually ended up doing pretty good. They were a slow. DefiKings was a slow build. Okay, DefiKings was a slow build, and let's go ahead and pull up the chart for DefiKings. So at launch, they did pretty good. They didn't tank. They stayed. I think they probably just did about a maybe a 1.5x, I believe. So yeah, 1.5x, and so it was a period of time where. Let me delete all my chart markups here. It was a period of time where, they didn't do much higher than that until, so 51 days. 51 days, their high was a 1.5x. And then they broke out. And, for the last handful of days, for the last 40 days, they've been up and doing some good things. And their all-time high is sitting at close to a 4x, so it's pretty awesome. This is something that Mike's been talking about. If you've been paying attention, watching, following along, projects that make it through, projects that make it through this period right here. This period right here could be a handful of things. This period right here could be their own development, their own finding their tribe and community. It could be the market. It could be the quote-unquote bear market. Okay? But we're starting to see some of these projects emerge. There's a handful of projects that look like this. And there's some projects that went all the way down and then they had a meteoric rise up. And so projects that can make it through this phase, that's that time of phase where I say, hey, that's where you really want to watch the team. What are they doing? Like that's where the talk is cheap, and now it's time for action. What are we going to do? We're developing, innovating, growing, and that's what they've been doing. Okay, so so this is their first launch. DefiKings was launched back in June. Okay, hard to imagine. June seems so short ago, but also so long ago. So let's go back to the calendar here. All right, let's take a look at the website for the lending. Okay, so we'll go over, and this is going to be very similar to CareCoin. This is existing project, existing team, existing community where they're expanding their ecosystem. So this is going to look a little bit different than a project who doesn't have this track record already. Having said that, though, this is really great. Okay, this is really great because teams wanted to further develop and expand what they're building. Okay. So we already know we know, like, and trust the team. The team's done a great job, very communicative. And I had not looked into DefiKings. I mean, I got in, but I didn't do this kind of deep dive on it. I got in simply because of leveraging the scouts and vetters for the original launch. But Mike has been very communicative. Okay, and so you can clearly see we have names and we have bios. Okay, and you guys know I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for names, bios, and socials. That's how you speak to me in the crypto world when it comes to teams. So, Mike, my professional career is centered around management, specifically construction, project management, and residential development fields. For the last 30 years, I got into crypto in 2006, made money, lost money, and got rugged a couple times. But along the way, I learned valuable lessons, and over time, became a really successful investor. After spending time as a volunteer staff member on a few projects and seeing so much dishonesty within the crypto space, I decided that we needed to create our own project that's 100% safe with amazing rewards and passive income. With that idea, DefiKings was born. Specifically within this project, it's our goal to create steady, sustainable means of passive income for our investors. With many contacts and partnerships we've lined up, I believe we'll continue to grow our community and token to greatest heights achievable. We will work tirelessly to make DefiKings the most lucrative and successful rewards token in the crypto. I agree. As far as I'm working hard, from day one, day one, he's been very active in chat and communication, responsive to messages and things like that, and it's been cool to see that happen. And here's Chris. I'm not really as familiar with Chris as I've done a lot of stuff with Mike. Okay, so first off, here, again, what are we looking for in a team? Personally, you get to know what you're looking for in a team. Are you looking for a young team? You looking for an older team? Maybe you're all about a all-women's team. That's okay, too. Whatever it is that you're looking for, get clear on what it is that you like in that criteria and see if this checks that box. For me, absolutely. Here's someone who has prior experience, has experienced successes and failures, both in and out of the crypto space. Great. Okay, they've been at it for over their first launch. They've been at it over close to 90 days, and so that's actually a long time in the crypto space. The fact that they're still around and the community is growing. So we're talking 92 days. Okay. And so that's something that's worth mentioning. Okay, the fact that there's a community there that's behind them, that's supporting them, that believes in the vision. People are excited about that. Okay, so the next thing that we would want to look at is the Telegram group. Let's go ahead and check out the Telegram. I'm thinking this is going to be the same group. Okay, it is the same group as just the overall. Okay, so their first project was DefiKings. Now they're doing the lending, so it's the same Telegram group. But we have 2,400 members, and these, without a doubt, are real. Okay, real members, which is great to see. We have pinned messages, 407 pinned messages. So fantastic communication. Okay, they're keeping their community up to date. They had some NFTs. They're working on other NFTs. They're keeping their community up to date on, they even had like some staking. You're able to stake your NFTs, and there's constant communication, constant things going on with them and in the community, which is super helpful to stay up to date and hop in here and get a quick update on what's going on. Okay. Next thing, they do host a handful of voice chats, and actually this voice chat is going to start here in a minute or so. So I'll make sure that I wrap up quickly for in case anybody wants to hop on this. You won't miss. You can ask your questions live for the voice chat here. But I did want to look at if they're still doing AMAs. Okay, so actually this is all everyone's talking about, the AMA that's happening today. Right here. Let's see if I can find like a recording or anything. Okay. I see King Astro here. All right. Let's look at. Let's go ahead and look at. With this being a project that is just expanding the ecosystem, let's see. Now, one thing is kind of weird on the website here. Maybe like a padding issue. Not like this is not a deal breaker, but like it's kind of hard to see here. So just a quick rundown of what the project is about. DKL is a sister token created in the DFK ecosystem. We provide loans to people that need funds for any reason, but don't want to sell tokens they own to get those funds. Their tokens can now be used as collateral with DefiKings Lending. Each loan request is carefully reviewed by a loan officer to allow for a personalized offer while limiting risk to the project. DKL and DFK holders that request a loan using DKL or DFK as collateral will receive a 25% discount on loan fees. Fees collected from this service are paid 50% to DefiKings holders that stake, 20% to DefiKings Lending holders at stake, and 30% to the lending treasury. Additionally, traditional staking pools will regularly be available for DKL holders and will offer guaranteed APY returns between 100 to 200%. The holder chooses to enter. The 20% fees allocated to DKL staking will be deposited to the staking pools to boost APY. DefiKings is a legally registered business located in the United States. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of curious about is the fact that they are locally registered stateside, and they are offering guaranteed APY. Given the stuff going on with regulatory agencies and things like that, this language just makes me kind of curious, how this is going to work out for them short term and long term. But as far as like the trust of the team is there. What I'm curious about is the language that they're using versus the language that Vetter and Skylabs is using clearly are way different. Way different. Experienced team. Our devs have been around the block as investors and team members with various crypto projects. They have learned what makes projects work and why others fail. They also have decades of combined business and marketing experiences come together with the creation of DefiKings. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying a minute ago. All right, so back on the project. Why should you invest in DKL? It's a much-needed utility owned by the same teams as DefiKings, making a sister project. We're creating real-world service that will directly pay you a share of 20% of the lending profits if you decide to stake your own. Now, I kind of like this idea of a group, of an entity that is creating kind of like a banking system, being able to loan out funds and as a community, like a community type banking type system. That might not be the best way to explain it, but that's how my simple mind breaks it down. So I like that concept. Instead of banks making money on loans, the community gets to make money on the loans. I think that's a really cool concept. Really curious to see how it's going to play out short term, long term, especially with the guaranteed APY. But well, I don't know. I would need some more time to think about how they're going to guarantee APY. How do they know how much money is going to be coming in or out for the loans and things like that? It makes me a little curious about that. Yeah, King Asher. I figured they had a lot of recorded AMAs because they've been really busy. I get to keep checking myself on saying, hey, this is not like a brand new project. This is an established project, established team. So I figured that they've had a bunch of AMAs, definitely. With DKL and DFK or any other crypto investment, you need to know it's safe and will be around longer than the fly-by-night and rug projects that come out every day. Everything we've done is to ensure the safety of your investment while ultimately providing great passive income. DefiKings launched in a bear market has been one of the few not only to make it, but has been extremely successful due to its mission of making the project a legitimate business. Those same principles are the driving force behind DefiKings Lending. All right, so let's break it down. How does the lending work? We want to make getting a loan as easy as possible, so we set up the approval process in a way that is both quick and easy. If you or someone you know is in need of a loan, the process can be started by completing the form below. Here are some of the basics. The loan will be funded with BUSD and must be repaid in BUSD. You must have a token on BSC that can be used as collateral. We will expand to other chains as the project matures. Loan to value ranges will be 20 to 50% of the collateral's lowest value over the previous 30 days, depending on the token used. All collateral must be sent to our escrow wallet to be locked and held by DefiKings before the loan is funded. Collateral will be released and sent back to the borrower once the loan and fees have been paid in full. In the event the loan is not repaid by the agreed date and the extension has not been granted, DefiKings will sell the collateral to recoup its loss. The initial loan term will be 90 days with a fee of 10 to 20% of the loan amount depending on collateral. There's a max loan amount of 500 BUSD which will increase as the loan treasury grows. Loan extensions may be requested but will be subject to minimum additional fee of 5% for each 30 days. Extensions must be requested and granted. They are not guaranteed. It is in your best interest to pay the loan back on time. Both holders receive 25% discount on fees if they hold a minimum of 1 BNB worth of either token and have not sold any in the last 30 days. Fees will be added to the total amount due at repayment time. Alternatively, the borrower will have an option to borrow or to allow DKL to sell a portion of their tokens to cover the fees used as collateral when they are sent to escrow. The borrower will receive a fee discount for doing so because each loan request will be analyzed for risk. Each individual loan term will be provided to the borrower to accept or reject prior to the funding the loan. Fees are returned to DefiKings 50% and DefiKings Lending 20%. Token holders at stake. They also fund our loan treasury. Since the fees are collected as BUSD, we will buy DKL tokens with those funds to boost APY in the DKL staking model and add massive amounts of green to the chart. So there's a built-in buyback. Pretty cool. So the general concept and idea is okay, so let's say that you have a token that's worth $500 and you need the money to go do something, but instead of selling your money to get the token, you can get a loan on it and go do whatever you need to do and just pay it back so you don't lose your tokens. I mean, that's the general gist that I got out of it. If you guys took it a different way, please chime in and let me know what your thought is on that. But I like that. I think it's a cool concept. So you're using, so it's not like, hey, I just need to go borrow some money, but it's like, hey, I have X amount of funds here in XYZ token, and I don't want to sell XYZ token because I believe XYZ token could be worth so much more, 90, 180, 365 days from now. but I do need the money for XYZ. So let me go ahead and, use this as collateral, get my loan, and then be able to, pay it off and get my tokens back without missing out. I think that's a really cool concept. Really cool concept. What do you guys think? What do you like? What do you think about this concept? About what DefiKings is doing for lending? I've never seen something like this before. If there's another project like this before, feel free to, share what your thoughts or experience is on that as well. Brandy says this is really nice. Just sitting here listening to discussion and input and discussion is great. Yeah, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Kim says there's only 13 people in the live chat. Yeah, so Kim, with their group being a little smaller, let's see here. Yep, we got 12 people on the chat. I am kind of curious to see, what they're talking about. So I know that just to put some things in perspective, they've done a really good job. And King Astronaut, you can speak into this if you're still here, brother. I know this group has done a really good job of creating a really close group community. When they launched some original NFTs a few months back, and they ended up selling like 850 NFTs, and what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is there are some really hardcore people within this community. And there's some parallels to Vetter and Skylabs as well. And, there are some people who have really big bags in both of our communities, and they are kind of like the pillars that can allow this project to grow and expand. So, for example, let's look at the chart again. There are some core people here that never sold, that believed in the vision 100%. I mean, this is pre-sale price here. So similar to Vetter, it never dropped below pre-sale price. So there's a core group of people holding. That creates some stability, and that gives a project an opportunity to continue to grow and evolve and find more people who are like-minded, who believe in that. So that's one of the things that I will say that, I definitely would like to see more, more participants on their live as well. But it is a really active group. So people are saying it's kind of like Nexo. Cool. Is Nexo pretty successful in what they're doing? I've never heard of Nexo. It sounds like this is a model that is usable and it works. I think it's a really cool concept. Really cool concept. Oh yeah, so here's some of their NFTs, their 3D NFTs. Oh, Nexo is huge. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's my take on this. So let's go ahead and take a look at what King Astronaut shared. So positives, got into DefiKings in the pre-sale, found it on the Vetter calendar. Love the team and the vibe. So far, they've delivered everything they said they would and more, and they're doxed. DefiKings launched 2 months ago, and sitting at a 5x from launch, just having passed $1 million market cap. No reason to believe the team won't deliver as promised. Red flags, don't see any red flags. Not a financial advisor. Comments. Oh, this is what I just read a minute ago. All right, so that's that. Anybody have any thoughts on? Anybody have any thoughts on DefiKings Lending? King Astronaut says exactly what you said. I like the idea because I can borrow from them to get into pre-sales on the calendar, then pay it back. Okay, as Metalride said, and as I'm about to say, not financial advice. Very risky. Very, very risky. I mean, the only way I was about to say, dude, the only way you limit that risk is if you had the funds to do it anyway and you just want to use OPM, other people's money. But, like, please hear us, okay? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you're listening to this right now and your mouth is watering because you just found a way to get some funds to get into other crypto pre-sales and you don't have the funds to back it up, please do not rely on that pre-sale 10xing so you can get funds to pay back your loan. This is not financial advice, but please don't do that. Please, oh my goodness, please don't do that. Like, please. Please. So, with that, I do definitely like the concept. I think this could be a really cool thing in the space. Just make sure that, you do it. Make sure you do it responsibly. Okay. We want to make sure that everything we do is sustainable, and we never want to get ourselves in a position where, like Jackie says, being over leveraged. That's a big deal. That's a real big deal. So with that, does anybody have any questions or anything before we hop off here? We had a great discussion. We looked into to CareCoin. One of the things I will say before we hop off here, I know Doctor was asking, and I did not go over it because there was a lot here. And so I do invite you guys to check it out. But for CareCoin V2, I did not mention what all was launching. What all utilities that they had, and so I just wanted to run over that real quick before we wrap up. But there was a lot of stuff. I mean, this one page just goes indefinitely. So we have rewards, swap, view, mint, DEX, a wallet. There's a fund. There's a shop. There's a card. There's you can track your rewards. There's an app. There's Verse, synergy between patients, pharmacies, families, and providers. Crypto U. NFTs. And merch. So there's a lot of stuff that they have here. I didn't go into it earlier just because there was a lot here. But I did want to touch on that because like I said, I saw Doctor asking about that. So with that, guys, we talked about at CareCoin V2, which is launching. Fair launch starts within I think 18 hours, less than 18 hours now. So it's going to be starting tomorrow. So write that down, add it to your list. Make sure that you're paying attention and you got everything on the up and up for that. And DefiKings Lending, really cool concept. So go ahead and add that one to your volume of launches as well. Paper trade that if you're still learning. And there's plenty of time to get your questions answered. Jackie did have a good question. She asked if she'd like to see if they're insured. That's definitely worth asking. Make sure, is it sustainable? Is it sustainable long term? And so with that, there's still plenty of time for us to have some good conversations. Let's see, they're going to launch on Pink Cell. Let's see if the Pink Cell link is up yet. Let's see here. That's not what I was thinking. Let's see here. Okay. I wouldn't imagine that they'd had the link out early or this early, but I thought maybe they would. But based on what King Astronaut said, we're looking at launch closer to the 29th. Okay, so there's still plenty of time to do your due diligence, get your questions answered, and everything like that. All right, so with that, like I said, we talked about CareCoin V2, we talked about DefiKings, and then we talked about just a quick reminder of if there's ever an opportunity, a teaching moment to share, hey, if someone's talking about a project, never feel like you can't share your own personal red flags or, hey, this is really risky and here's why. It's a great opportunity for the person to learn. It's a great opportunity for someone who's just in the shadows, lurking, watching the chat. It's great because that's what makes this community so good. It's one thing to talk about how good projects are, but it's also good to talk about what to look for in projects that are not that good, because everybody wins. Everybody wins. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. I will end like I always do. Life can be short. So for those that you care and love, let them know so much good stuff going on in this community. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in Telegram. Bye for now.